This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Now, Anthony Joshua has said that for this camp in his rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr., where hopefully, touch wood, of course, Anthony Joshua becomes a two-time heavyweight champion of the world. Hopefully. Now, he said that him by increasing the intensity of his sparring means his sparring partners have been putting it on him. And that's great news, because I've been worrying for quite some time, ever since, like David Hayes said, that what Anthony Joshua does in sparring, because Carlos Takam told him, is that he does a lot of technical sparring. In other words, it's not heavy hitting, okay? It's not sparring where you're getting your backside handed to you. You're not getting battle hardened. And any fighter will tell you that in the gym, in the sparring, there's no shame in getting your backside handed to you. That's where you're supposed to happen. That's where you're supposed to get beat up. That's where you're supposed to get knocked down. That's where the deep water is supposed to be around your neck. So ultimately on fight night, if the same thing happens to you, you've been there before. And I think a lot of it could be down to the fact, if David Hayes correct in what Carlos Takam told him, that Anthony Joshua doesn't do intense sparring. So ultimately, when the intensity was brought to him, such as his last fight with Andy Ruiz Jr., he hadn't been there before. He didn't know how to cope because he wasn't battle hardened to it. Yes, of course, he was a late replacement, and Andy Ruiz Jr., very, very fast hands. We all knew, anybody who knew Andy Ruiz Jr. knew that he was going to bring it. And he's the kind of style that Joshua is going to have problems with. But with him increasing the intensity of the sparring means he's going to be more battle hardened. Yes, of course, there's a counteraction to that one. If you get beat up too much, you could get concussion, you can get all these kind of things, okay? You could get weak-minded, like, God, I can't cope with this anymore. Of course, that happens. But that's where you're supposed to learn it. You're supposed to get beat up in sparring. Okay, and ultimately, if you get a concussion, then your coach should know that you've got a concussion and then leave the sparring off until you recover. Not all fighters do recover, okay, because a lot of the people who end up getting like punch drunk, or their slurred speech, or they end up having to retire due to medical grounds because of brain injuries, a lot of that happens in sparring. And that's the unfortunate side of boxing. It really is the unfortunate side of it. Yes, all fighters want to have a long career. Of course they do. And the idea is to hit and not get hit. It's a brutal sport. It doesn't matter how you look at it, especially at heavyweight. These guys hit hard. Yes, in sparring, they do have like 16-ounce gloves on. And yes, they do have headgear on. But ultimately, you're still getting your head rocked backwards from side to side. Your chin is still exposed. Your nose is still exposed. Your body is still exposed. So Joshua getting intense sparring now, where sparring partners are coming in, not for technicalities, but to put it on him. So on fight night, he's used to it. He's been there before. He knows how to recover. He knows how to take moments off in the fight when necessary to try and recover without letting his opponent know that he is hurt. All these things help. And to be honest with you, I'm a little surprised that Rob McCracken has left it this long. To be honest with you, I think that Joshua, had he gone through gym wars, then ultimately on fight night, what happened with him and Andy Ruiz Jr., he may be able to have coped with it a little bit better, because this was new water for him. Yes, he got hurt against Dillian Whyte momentarily, but Dillian Whyte, his shoulder popped, so he couldn't put on the full force of it. So who knows what would have happened in that fight with Vladimir Klitschko. You could argue that Klitschko got a little bit nervous because he got dropped in the round beforehand, that he was nervous that maybe Joshua was playing possum or whatever it may be and was going to counterpunch him. So he was being a little bit cautious. But had Klitschko put it on him even more, who knows what would have happened. So in some ways, Klitschko did kind of let him off the hook. And you would have thought that since that moment, while it's good to do technical sparring, of course it is, every fighter should be doing technical sparring as well, but he hasn't been getting battered around the ring. He's been sparring a lot of amateurs. He's been sparring a lot of guys who, let's be honest, have no place to be in the ring with a top elite athlete such as an Anthony Joshua. They have no reason to be in the ring with him. And it's been working out fine for Joshua up to this point. But ultimately, because he wasn't battle hardened, because he wasn't getting beaten up in sparring, because he's so worried about maybe potentially the news being leaked out that Anthony Joshua, he got beat up in sparring by Joe Blogs that nobody's heard of. Oh, well, Joshua, he's exposed. Maybe Joshua now has realised, who cares what the stories say. Ultimately, what goes on in the gym goes on in the gym. If you get beat up, good. I hope that all our top fighters, I hope that Anthony Joshua, I hope Dillian White, I hope Tyson Fury and many others get beat up in sparring. Because when it comes to fight night, they know how to handle it. Anyway, listen, that's my thoughts, and this is music to my ears, the fact that Anthony Joshua has increased the intensity of the sparring. You drop your thoughts below about it, click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.